This episode was brought to you by Google Cloud, a partner that needs no introduction. What you might not have heard of, though, is that Google offers a Google for Startups cloud program where they give you access to startup experts, technical training, business support, and cover your Google Cloud costs up to $200,000 for 2 years, or even $350,000 if you're an AI startup. Scale your startup faster and smarter with Google Cloud. Head over to goo.gle/Swisspreneur.
High quality clothes can only be produced in high quality factories, and it's also to sew a jacket, waterproof jacket, it's about 140 steps and a lot of different materials. The workers are really skilled to do that, and the more skilled you are, the more powerful you are.
Welcome to the Swisspreneur Show, a podcast about startup stories and learnings from experienced entrepreneurs. If you enjoy listening to our show, make sure to follow the podcast and leave a rating. And now, here's your host, Sylvan.
Franz, very well, welcome to the Swisspreneur Show. It's a pleasure to have you as a guest today.
Great, thanks for having me. I'm really looking forward to the talk.
Same here. You're the founder and CEO at Namuk, the Swiss premium quality, innovative and sustainable outdoor clothing brand for children. Let's start with your personal background and let's travel back in time a bit. After your Matura, you started your first venture. It's still the same company today, but that was basically your first venture, the 11 GmbH back in 1998. First of all, what motivated you to start this company?
Yeah, I was pretty young and didn't thought too much about any venture or what I could be. But I was really a snowboarder. I was dedicated to snowboarding. Snowboarding started to took off back in these days. Mm-hmm. But when I really liked an outfit of another rider or a rider I admired, it was already there and a lot of people were wearing this stuff. So I thought, I want to be individual. I want to have my own clothes. So I started sewing my own clothes. And the fun thing was, like 2 days later, the first people approached and asked, hey, can you please sew me also an outfit? So I sewed almost 5 outfits. That means jacket and pants. Yeah. And after this, shops came and asked like, hey, we would like to purchase the goods. Then after 5 nights sewing the whole night instead of sleeping, I knew I have to do something different. Then I start running production in Czech Republic. I think it was still Czech Republic maybe, or Czech. Then, and the second year we already start to run production in Asia.
Wow. That's like a fast scale up from, hey, I just want to do my own thing to really a spike in demand from the market.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit a different time. I mean, snowboarding was picking up. It was really popular, and everything that you wear then a sweater was better than the current thing you could buy. So it was easy to get traction. These days, I mean, today it's totally different. The quality is much higher. Everything is, let's say it's more elaborated. But back in the days, then it was kind of fun because it was just at my own. I was 20 years old, living in a WG, so it was quite easy.
It sounds like quite a fun time.
Yes, it was a fun time. I had support a little bit from my father as well, because I just started, and then I came and said, I need money, and 10,000 to run my first production. He was like, what are you doing? Then I had to found the company.
And then, business was picking up. You basically fell into entrepreneurship a bit out of your own need by creating your own clothes for snowboarding. But then you had a tough decision to make. After you did Matura, you usually go to university, you study. You decided against that. You said, I stay in my own business. Why was that the right decision for you, and how did you sort of make that decision? Because I assume at the young age, that's quite difficult.
Yeah, I think at the end, it was not a decision made. It was just like the success. We grew every year, and it was hard to stop because it was a venture. It was also, the demand from outside Switzerland came. I mean, at the peak of the 11 business, we served 17 countries and around 300 doors, and we barely couldn't stop because it was, it would be the wrong decision just to stop.
It would have been too big to let that opportunity pass.
Yes, and it was also fun. I mean, creating your own stuff, believe in your vision, and going forward and move forward with the team. It was just a good experience beside all the downsides like financing, whatever.
And I assume you had to do many of these things for the first time, negotiate with suppliers, think about pricing, sales, all of that stuff. How did you learn these things? Did you have someone who you could ask or who helped you along the journey?
Yeah, we had several people. I had several people that I could talk to and learn from them. But at the end, it was also a little bit failure. And then you learn, try to do it differently. We did a lot of mistakes. And I think the most important is that you just do a mistake once and not 2 times.
Yeah.
So, it was a different time also. I mean, at the beginning, we sent fax to Asia to place the orders, and then email came, Hotmail was there. So it was a completely different time.
That's almost unimaginable today in 2024, but sounds like a pretty cool venture that just started out there. You then stayed on that venture for a long time, almost 20 years before you then made a change. We're going to talk about that in a second, but I wonder, almost 20 years, that's a very, very long time. And you mentioned a lot of failing, mistakes, and trying over and over again. What were some of the key learnings that you took away from this journey of 20 years?
I mean, the company, it's still the same company, but it has like 3 different phases, let's say. The first was the 11 venture, and the second one was more the consulting and designing and running production for bigger companies. And the third now is namuk. I think the learning from the first part is that beside having fun, I think funding is really important. The first part of the venture was bootstrapped, which was totally okay these days, but we were stuck a little bit in the middle. We were too big to sneak. I mean, with all the currencies issues, we sold in the US, bought in US dollars. The cost was in Swiss francs. The euro dropped 2011. So we were too small to balance, but too big to just sneak a little bit around. So funding is important.
I'm sure we're also going to talk about that in your current action. You then changed something in the business in 2016. You said it was basically going towards namuk, what we will talk about in a second. What sort of sparked this change? Why did you decide to go from snowboarding to consulting, managing, manufacturing, to then having your own product again?
Yes. I mean, it was 2011 when we decided to not shut down, but to stop with the brand 11, because it was clear that snowboarding was going down because skiing was picking up again. The carbing skis came. It was more fun to ski than it was before. No more rebellious, no more outlaws as it was at the beginning. So snowboarding went down pretty fast, and then we decided to stop with the brand because, as I already said, we were too big to sneak, too small to act really global. And then we stopped with the brand, which was a really sad decision at the end. And then I didn't know what's the value of my work, so I started just working a little bit. We already had 2 kids, so I checked. I was looking at the kids for 2 days. My wife worked a little bit, but then like 3 months later, she already had to stop again because I was approached by a lot of bigger brands asking for my help. Can you do this? Can you do that? Please, consulting, whatever. And then I run the consulting design and production business until 2016. It was a really good time because I just needed my phone and a computer, and then I could invoice at the end of the day, which is cool. But at the end of the day, it was not really fulfilling because it was just part of the whole job to do. So I did some concepts, I consulted them, I run some productions, but was never responsible for the whole thing. So if I did a collection for them, but they were not able to produce it in the right quality, it failed. And it's so bad that it failed because they didn't use the right material. So I decided to start my own company again.
Is it also more rewarding to have your own company? Because then you're really building everything from the little things to the big things to a certain degree.
Yes, I think it's more rewarding. I mean, it's more pressure.
Sure.
It's a lot more pressure, but at the end, if you succeed, it's it's a team, and a lot of decisions we do by our own. But if you just do like a small part of a whole thing, then no, it's not that rewarding.
And this entrepreneurial drive that you have, it seems like it has always been in you. Did you have any role models or anyone in your family that was an entrepreneur and inspired you to pursue that path?
I think my grandfather, they lived in Vienna, and he ran a kids business too. But I noticed this just after we started with Namuk. I never knew that, but my grandfather, he had a kids store as well.
So it's sort of in the DNA, but you didn't even know.
Probably, yes.
Out.
My father was completely different. He worked at a big company his whole career. But I think I was young. I don't needed the money, so I just started with 11 these days.
Amazing. And then 11 became Namuk in 2016. Did the idea of Namuk come from having your own children and being sort of out and about with them?
Yes. I mean, my oldest son, he was really a heavy user. He was sleeping, eating, or digging some holes outside, no matter the weather. And then the problem was that he came back sometimes 20 minutes later, ripped pants or completely wet because it was raining. He was out like from morning until the evening. And then I checked his clothes and I just noticed that they were made really poor, cheapest material, no seam sealing, because the end consumer, they don't want to pay more for the quality because kids outgrow the clothes. And then we decided, hey, this is not the way we would like to consume. This is not the way we would like to act. We think that we can do this better.
Amazing. I have so many questions about the product and what you actually offer and how you offer it. But before we go there, you are a solo founder, the solo founder of Namuk. Of course, you have a team behind you that works with you. But at the same time, why did you decide to go the lonely route?
I think really important is my wife too. I mean, she's on my side since more than 22 years now, which is not that easy for her. Sometimes for me as well, but she really backs my ideas, and she was an important part at the beginning, also visually, also with the idea behind. So at the end, I decided to be a solo founder together with my wife because it was a side business at the beginning, and I had to do decisions really fast. I mean, I was working for bigger companies the whole day, and in the evening, I was here with my kid, designing or doing the logo, whatever, and I couldn't talk to others. I just have to do the decision like so I hadn't time to discuss that much.
Otherwise, that might not even have been possible to build the company behind it, right?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. And your wife is sort of the unofficial co-founder.
Yes. Amazing. She's always in the background.
But that makes a strong team, the two of you. So let's talk about the market and what exactly was wrong with outerwear for kids before Namuk came to the scene? It was a bit like you said, not durable. Was there something else that was just annoying you with kids' clothes?
Yes, design-wise, I think there are 3 different buckets. Let's say one is the kids' fashion bucket, which is really nice designed. but they don't have the let's say capacity to do really technical stuff, because to do technical stuff like rain jackets, waterproof jackets, snow overalls, you need a lot of experience and really good connections to the factories. Then there are the adult focus brands. 90% of the turnover is adults, and then maybe the CEO get kids, and then they start doing kids business. But because the price is so low, the price range is so low, they cut away everything they don't need. They use the cheapest material, take downs from adults, and so the quality is not that good. And then the third is the kids outdoor business. In my opinion, I mean, this is everybody has his own view on that, but I think design-wise, they don't put that much effort designing the clothes, and also with features and innovations.
If you look at this, you sort of just deliver a market analysis, right? And your sweet spot is, maybe premium is the wrong word, but durable kids clothing, better quality, better design. This seems to be an untapped market, but when you go in there, isn't that also a bit scary? Because you think, hey, maybe that market is untapped for a reason, because it's not lucrative. It's not worth going there.
Yeah, sure. And this was at the beginning a learning we had. I mean, we tried to do fashionable outdoor clothing for kids that last as long as possible, because we think this is the most sustainable approach. Because if you do polyester jacket that are waterproof, then they need to last as long as possible.
Right.
So we did this out of fabrics from older productions, which is also important. I think at the beginning, we never ever produced any fabric. We used up old fabrics from other productions.
Nice.
And then we went to some customers, B2B customers, showing the line, say, hey, look, would you like to buy this? And then they say, oh, the price is too high and the colors are really ugly. Nobody's going to buy it. Then we came back. We even hired a sales rep at the beginning.
Okay.
And after 3 months, we said, hey, it doesn't make any sense to go on with you, because nobody's going to buy it. And then for me, it was crystal clear. We do it e-com, D2C, and we started with our own website. And then we sold a lot, let's say a lot compared to today, not, but for us, it was a lot these days on e-com, our channel, and then B2B approach. So I think it's an untapped market still, but the demand is here.
But I wonder, when these potential business partners tell you too expensive, too ugly, why would you continue with that? Because many people probably give up there. They would say, okay, we tried, the market doesn't want it. You did the opposite. You then came back and said, let's go and do it ourselves. We go direct to consumer. Why did you not just give up there?
Good question. I don't know. Stupid. No, we just believed in it. I mean, we saw it. I saw the potential, and then you just need to trust yourself.
Yeah. But that takes some guts to then also follow through and not doubt yourself eventually.
Yeah, I think one thing is guts for sure. The other thing is a wife that just say, hey, if you believe in it, just do it.
That's cool.
Yes.
And I assume also your snowboard days from 11 helped you a lot with the material and the sort of producer network. So talk us a bit through the innovations that you then brought to the kids' clothing with namuk.
For us, it was crystal clear. Beside the design, I mean, the colors we like more than the flashy green and flashy red that was outside there. We wanted to have more earthy tones, more urban-inspired tones. Beside this, we knew that if you want to succeed, we need to offer added value. So we started with innovations like the toilet zipper. You can, on our overalls, you can go to toilet, or the integrated suspenders, or nuki halter, let's say. And we added this to the goods. I mean, at the end, adding these features to our products makes them more expensive, but we were sure that there are enough people who are willing to buy more expensive products if they get more.
It's also here sort of a personal conviction based on your own experience, gut feeling, everything combined. that said, hey, this is useful. I'm going to build that. I love that because it sort of is the personal conviction that then eventually also leads to success where no other company was thinking about doing it the same way as you did.
Yes, I mean, when I used to work for the bigger brands, sometimes it was cut down cost for 10 cents per item. So we shorten the zipper, even if it's uncomfortable to get into the pocket because the zipper is too short, but we had to shorten it about 2 cm to get another 10 cents more margin. So for me, it was clear if we want to succeed, then we have to add something that they don't get from other brands. So it's more comfortable, it's more warm, it's more waterproof, it's more comfy, reversible jackets. So, I mean, if you buy once namuk, you stay with namuk.
Amazing. So you not only built a better product, but another innovation that you also then built into the whole experience is a repair service. I think that's pretty cool. Talk a bit more about that, because that's also quite an innovation that you don't see in the children or the kids' clothing market, I assume.
Yes. The thing is, if you have really cheap products, it doesn't make sense to repair them. You just throw them away.
Yeah.
But if you produce quality or high quality products, it absolutely makes sense to repair them, first of all. And second, it's the most sustainable way to act. If we produce a textile item, 72% of the CO2 emission is occurred during production. So we have to make sure that the clothes stay as long as possible in the cycle. So repairing them is one thing, and the other thing is the reuse. We have the reuse platform. We buy back used clothes from our customers.
That's mind-blowing if we describe that to someone. How does that exactly work? So if my kid outgrows the clothing, I can just contact you and you buy it back?
Yes, you can send it to us, no question asked. We buy it back for 20% of the initial amount and resell it again through our own platform. You get a voucher and can hopefully purchase again from us.
Amazing. And I assume that just allows you to increase the margin further because you can make the same sale multiple times.
Yes, the margin is okay, let's say. If it's, I mean, we have to clean it. Sometimes we have to fix it a little bit. I think the margin is not the biggest benefit. The thing is that we keep customers in our ecosystem first, and the second, we can show that if the clothes are a little bit more expensive than from competitors, we are willing to buy it back.
Yeah. I think that's amazing that you do that, and also a real innovation from my perspective.
Yes, we were I think we were the first kids brand globally who did that.
Wow. And sustainability is a very important aspect, as we hear from you. One important part here is also the PFC part. You claim on your website that 95% of the namuk collections are PFC-free. So first of all, for someone who hasn't heard about that before, what is PFC and why should we be worried about that?
Yeah, I think from next fall on, it's 100%. So we eliminated the last item. It was the Neo jacket that still has a little bit PFC on it. PFC is a really, let's say, nice add-on on top of the fabric because it makes the fabric water repellent, really long. It's really long lasting. And this is also the downside because it's so long lasting, it stays in nature very, very long. So we have to avoid it. And for us, it was clear from the beginning that we have to just make sure that you don't use it.
Amazing.
Not sure how to set up contracts for your globally distributed team? Wondering how to best keep your seed round investors up to date? Join our growing community on Slack and tap into the hive mind of over 600 Swiss startup founders. Click the link in the show notes to apply to join today.
And you are on the best way to completely get rid of that. And what materials do you then use instead to really make not only your clothes durable, but also sustainable?
Now it's just getting into details.
Sure.
The PFC is a C8 chain, charbon, how do you say it? Charcoal, and because this C8 chain is very long, it's really hard to to shrink it down just over the years. So we are using then, like 3 years ago, we're using C4, then we used C2, and now it's C0, PFC-free, it's called C0. So we just we needed more time to find a different chemical which is not harmful for nature.
Great. And another topic besides the material that you use is, of course, the factories that you work with. There you really put in a big effort, and you only work with factories that have been certified according to the Business Social Compliance Initiative or similar labels. What does this mean, and how do you actually enforce that? Because saying that they have the label is one part, but still making sure that they also follow the label, not only have it, is a completely different story sometimes.
Yes, for us, the personal connection is most important. So we work with factories we know, or we work with factories we know that bigger brands which share the same values as we do work with them. But I think the personal connection is the most important. One thing, as you said, are the certificates, and the other thing is that we produce high quality clothes, and high quality clothes can only be produced in high quality factories.
No.
And it's also to sew a jacket, a waterproof jacket, it's about 140 steps and a lot of different materials. The workers are really skilled to do that. And the more skilled you are, the more powerful you are.
Right.
I mean, if you just have to do a seam over and over every day, you're easy to replace. But if you have skills and you work like for 10 years in the outdoor industry, then you have more power. But it's a difficult topic, yes.
In that area, you really have a clear focus on sustainability. Your designs are also unique, and the colors that you bring to the table. Now you sort of opened this untapped market to a certain degree. What sort of avoids other competitors or big brands that have already been there before, maybe more focusing on the fast fashion and cheap fashion trend? What sort of hinders them to go in the same direction as you and just copycatting you?
We see that other brands trying to copy us, but just an example, the toilet zipper, the cost to add this toilet zipper is $7 in production. And
that's a lot.
That's a lot. And if you just think like a big brand, you don't do it because it's too much, because it will, the cost, the RRP, like the recommended retail price will be much, much, much higher. And they don't serve these customers, so they cannot do it.
It sounds simple, but at the same time, the market also needs to be willing to pay for that product, right? So how do you convince your customers that it's actually worth spending significantly more money compared to a cheaper competitor?
This is the biggest challenge we have. We always say it's like the perception gap. So I think for a snow overall, we're not that far out of the competitors. We just offer a little bit more than the competitors. And if you look at Tutti or Ricardo, you buy an overall for 260 at Namuk, and you can easily sell it for 130 on Tutti. You just have to calculate and not just buy, because it's cheaper than buying another one for 180, destroyed after 3 months, and then you have to throw it away. But you have to calculate.
But I assume this all makes sense in theory, but do people really make these calculations? Because often I feel they go, I need this. They just look at the price, buy it, and don't think around the corner, as we would say in German, that, hey, there's reselling value in that. So actually it's a better business for me if I invest more now and are then able to resell it. So this, I assume, is a big marketing challenge for you to solve.
Yes, this is the biggest, for sure, the challenge. I think in general, we have to switch from buying into investing. I mean, we invest into good food because it's our body. We invest in our body. We invest in good quality clothes because we cannot just buy it and throw it away. Also, I think the Green Deal that's coming up in the EU, 2025, and some other government, some legal things will help a lot, because it will be forbidden to throw away you can do it at home.
Yeah.
But if you don't sell it, you're forbidden to just throw it away.
Yeah.
But this is the biggest challenge, yes.
Hopefully society moves in that direction, which will bring you more business. At the same time, this market that you're operating in, it's also a challenging market, not only because you have to convince people that it's more of an investment than just an expense, but actually also because the kids' clothing market is also known for its lower margins compared to the adult market. How do you cope with that? Because that's like another challenge on top of the already challenging environment you're active in.
Yes, you're right. The margin is lower. I mean, if I show you a jacket and ask you, what would you pay if it's an adult jacket? And you probably will say $300.
Yeah.
And if you say, okay, what will you pay if it's a kid's jacket? Then you probably will say $60. Even if it's the same manufacturing, it's the same fabric, everything is the same. You just need a little bit less material. Okay.
Yeah.
So the downside is the margin. I agree. The upside for us is because kids are growing, you always have to buy. So if you really like the brand, you like the products, your kit is always dry and not cold, you will buy again next year from us. This is the upside.
And there's also an interesting take, because your clothes are better, they're more durable, logically, but at the same time, this also means that you eventually sell less products, right, than a competitor that just says, hey, you use it, it's more okay, it breaks, you need a new one. Isn't that also a bit of a contradiction? Like, hey, the better your products get, the less money you make as a company.
Yes, I think this is going back to our vision to make sure that kids can stay as long outside as possible. I think it's crucial that we all consume less. I mean, don't buy 10 t-shirts if you only need 3, then buy 3 t-shirts. Buy less, but buy better. So I think this is also a challenge, but it's also an opportunity for us. We need to educate people.
This is actually one of the biggest challenges for you, as you mentioned. And I wonder, do you have some strategies or some hacks or examples how you successfully communicate this message, this very complex message that investing is a better way of handling things, a more sustainable way of handling things compared to just going for the cheaper fast fashion product? How do you do that in practice?
Yes, I think it goes all back to our vision to make sure that kids stay or can go out as long as they want, because we think that you really need to have a connection to nature. You need to love nature to be able to protect nature. And I think clothes or long-lasting durable clothes is an essential part for kids to stay out as long as possible. We have to break this down to really simple messages. I totally agree. And it's really hard sometimes to communicate through social media. It's just nice pictures. Yeah, everybody likes our nice pictures, but nobody wants to hear the bad messages. So it's also, we want to act positively. I think it's also a tendency of the society that everybody understands that nature is important. We just dropped a study last week. Maybe you read about it, that we did a study with Link together about outdoor time for kids. And it's really clear that kids are 22.5 hours a day inside and only 1.5 hours a day outside. And we really need to change that.
I read the title about that. I didn't know that it was you behind it. That's cool. You got some nice publicity there, right?
Everywhere, yes.
Yeah. And I wonder, what is more effective for you to create brand awareness, but in the end, eventually also sales? Is it more the fear, hey, a fearful message? You got to be scared if you don't bring your kids outside. And with our clothing, you can actually do that in the more sustainable and more long-term way. Or is it more with facts and figures? Hey, this is a good investment and staying on the positive side. What is better in terms of marketing effect for you as a company?
We try to avoid fear because I think it's not a good thing. We want to show the chances or show the opportunities. Also, facts and figures, I think it's important to underlay the gut feeling, but at the end, our customers are women. 75% are women. and they don't care. Most of them, don't care that much about facts and figures. They just want to make sure that the kids is protected.
So it's more an emotional storytelling.
Yes, 100%.
Got it. And through what channels do you reach your audience, your customers, the best way?
It's mainly social media at the moment. Social media through our website.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our website shouldn't be just a shop where you can buy our products. It's also inspirational blog posts about how can you go out with your kids. The thing is that when I compare these days with when I was young, I was out from morning till the evening, just came back home when my mother was calling maybe 10 times a dinner, whatever. And these days, kids are like, they go to school, then have to do this, to have to do that. And the end, they are out for 1 hour a day. And this is also including the weekend and also the where they go to school. So I think this is the biggest challenge and the biggest opportunity for us to raise awareness for outdoor time.
Yeah.
So this is the main goal, or not the main goal, it's the overarching goal behind namuk.
I love that because it seems that we or our kids are losing contact and touch with nature. And you sort of have this bolder vision, the bolder story to tell and to share. Hey, we bring kids back to nature and bring them in touch and really in contact with nature. And that seems to be a very, very important part for a great upbringing of any child.
Yes. I think at the end we need to make money, because if we don't make money, we're not going to survive. And we couldn't equip more kids. But we have a bolder vision, as you said. We really want to reconnect kids with nature, because I already said, if you don't have any connection, any love for nature, for a snail, for a tree, whatever, you're not going to protect it in future.
Absolutely. And you also mentioned that you started out as a direct-to-consumer company, because first the other companies didn't want to work with you, and then you just said, okay, we do it on our own. Today, you transition into an omni-channel model. How did you weather this change? Because I assume you also need a bit of a different skill set from selling direct-to-consumer and now going to B2B again.
Yes, I mean, the journey was like that. We first asked B2B because, we knew this channel. When I was young, there was no e-com, so we knew the B2B side pretty better. And then it didn't turn out, so we started with the e-com. But a lot of customers still want to touch the clothes. I need to touch it. I need to see it. I need to wear it. Yeah. So we started with our own stores. So we were able to open one store, our own store in Arosa, then Flims. Then we did one store in Lenzerheide, and then another store in Zurich. And then B2B came up. Yes, it was a big change for us as well, because we, as a D2C brand, you just can produce and then you sell it. And if you go to the B2B, I mean, to a retailer, then you need a sample collection 1 year in advance. So we had to pick up this cycle and then produce samples again. And you're more like, let's say, in a corset. Mm-hmm. It's not all bad, because you have also, if you sell 1 year in advance a jacket to, let's say, Transa, then I'm going to make some money in a year.
Better planability, right?
Yes, better in planning. And also we have a financing. There is easier to finance if you have some orders in the books, but it takes a lot of flexibility.
How is the split today? Of course, when you started out, it was 100% D2C. How is it today? Is it more like 50-50, or what's the split?
Yeah, we've 65% D2C and the rest is B2B and a little bit marketplaces.
Nice. Perfect. You mentioned financing as well. Of course, we heard from your early days at 11, a key learning, financing is really important. So how do you finance namuk today? Because you probably need some upfront cash to finance production. How do you solve this issue?
Yes, 2016, when I decided to focus on namuk and stop with consulting, I had one customer who believed in the story, and she was the first seed investor. So she helped us between 2016 and 2019. In 2019, we did our first financing round with investors. And since then, we are backed with investors.
Amazing. And that's probably the capital you need to finance production, build the brand, invest in marketing and all of that.
Yes. These days, I think you're either small or big. There is not that much room in between. So we have to grow.
And talking about growth, with investors on board, they eventually also want to see a return on their investment. You sort of redefined a whole market segment a bit and sort of got access to it. But eventually that might also become too small at one point, geographically, in Switzerland, but then also in terms of the segment itself. So what are sort of your expansion plans? Do you plan to go fully international? Do you plan to go in a different market segment and say, hey, we also want to now do sustainable outdoor clothing for adults, for example? What's your growth plan?
Yes, this is the question we heard a lot from mothers, like, oh, can you do please this jacket for myself? I would buy it instantly. Yes, it's not planned now, but I never say no. I think for us, it's important to be number one choice for kids. If you have an active lifestyle and go outdoors. And outdoors means not just outdoor, but just out of your house and in all relevant markets globally. At the moment, we are strong in DACH, growing also in Germany, Austria. And 2 years ago, we entered the US and are growing in the US as well.
Fantastic. So clear focus, going international with what you already have with the same market. I wonder, as a founder, it's always tempting to say, oh, we get these inbound requests. This mom of the child also wants the jacket for herself. How do you stay focused and on track and say no to these, at least from my perspective, good-looking opportunities where you feel, damn, that's where you could ask for these $300, $400 and we just leave a lot of money on the table by not going there. Is that an easy decision for you to stay focused and sort of say no to opportunities as they come your way?
No, really, no. You need a good team. And a good finance team and also a good ops team. No, it's really not easy because the opportunities are here. We also get requests from Asia. Oh, we would like to sell namuk in Asia. Then you need money, we need growth, and then you see the opportunity, and then you have to balance between, hey, is it worth to do because selling is easy, but the whole ops part behind it, it's not so easy sometimes. And then, it's hard.
How do you make these decisions? For example, going to the US instead of going to Asia in that very specific example?
We talk with a lot of people. We have good advisors also on the board and advisors in our team. I think it's important to listen to a lot or different people. Then and at the end, we have to do decision, but you need to have a lot of information.
Okay. And now if you look at your history, namuk has been thriving for 7 years already. Its future looks bright. So what milestones are you looking forward to hit together with your team?
It's also a matter of what is success. Is success, for me, success if my vision or the vision of the team or the products we think that might fit or might have a market fit. If we can see that these products are selling really well, they're sold out sometimes in 2 weeks, I think this is the success I really like. The other thing is that the overarching goal, we really need to make sure that kids go out as long as possible. We have one KPI is how many kids get dressed last year with namuk.
Yeah.
And this is, for me and for the team, a really important KPI.
I assume that's very motivating
Yes.
to see that number grow.
Yes.
And since you have investors on board, is an exit, a sale of the company also an option that you're considering or even working towards to?
Yes, for sure. I think there are different options or different ways how we can grow. Maybe someday we will be limited by financial whatever. We don't get enough money to grow, and then there are different options we have to look at.
So you're open to
Yes.
what the future brings.
Sure.
And Franz, to wrap up the conversation today, I also want to ask you some rapid fire questions. I give you different options to choose from or a short question and try to answer in one sentence if possible.
Yes.
What is your favorite place to go explore with your kids?
The mountains.
Which ones?
I really like the Engadin and Lenzerheide.
Great spots. Where do you shop for grown-up outerwear? Or you just do it yourself?
Yes, I do it myself. I mostly buy online for myself.
Okay. And what is the most creative damage that a kid has ever done to their namuk clothes?
This was not the clothes. This was different shoes. When I was in Asia, I came back with really, really, really nice shoes for him.
Huh?
I think I landed at 6 a.m. in the morning, and at 7 they were already destroyed. Really.
That's fast.
Yellow, blue Adidas. Yes.
Wow.
But the namuk, sorry to go back to the namuk, I think we never ever had a fast, no kids were able to destroy our clothes really fast.
I think that speaks for itself.
Yes.
And the last question for you today, what did being in nature do for you throughout your own childhood, but also as an adult, I assume?
I think it connected me with nature, a lot of creativity, because you just have stones, sticks, whatever, you have to build something. And for me, as an adult, it's important. 1 hour of running, sometimes it's worse, or it's even better than 30 hours of working. It's detox. For me, it's detox.
Amazing. I love that. Franz, thank you so much for coming on the show. I wish you all the best, lots of success, and we're eagerly following your journey with namuk. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Silva. It was really a pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, you can support us by rating our show on Apple Podcasts. This way, we can reach an ever-growing number of aspiring entrepreneurs.